Okay, so this is the speedometer from an XKE that I bought on eBay, and got a very important notice here. I mean, there's a sticker right here, you know, on the front of the speedometer. But what it says, if I can get it to focus in here, is that it's important that you remember that when you're resetting the trip counter, that you rotate the knob counterclockwise until all the numbers are 0. But they just stuck it right in the middle of the dial like that. I don't know what they were thinking when they did it, because it's I don't know what year this particular one came from. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart, at least open it up and look at it. I tested it on the bench, and the speedometer needle moves, the odometer increases, and the trip odometer increases, and the odometer increases. So I know that it's working. So the way you take these apart, the first thing you got to do is you take off the front bezel, and there's a bunch of, you can see these tabs here. And these tabs have to get lined up with the spaces, and you can rotate it like this. And once you've rotated it like that, you can take the glass off, which would be important if you wanted to clean the glass. If I were going to keep this one, I think I can figure out and remember that you gotta how you have to rotate the knob. I don't need the instruction on there if I were going to keep it. So if I can clean this one up, maybe it's worth salvaging. But in the meantime, you can see some of the markings on this. The 1312 here and the SN 6332, I know is significant in knowing that this is from a car. It indicates, I think, what gear in the rear axle it would be appropriate for it. So you know how many rotations of the speedometer cable equals 1 mile an hour or a kilometer or whatever it is. But it appears to be functioning otherwise. So that's what it looks like after you take the front face off. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the back off it so we can see the gears on the inside. Now you can see the outside of this thing is pretty rusty. So who knows what the status of it was. Look inside you can see it's definitely not been well cared for. Who knows? This is where the trip odometer reset is. This is the input for the actual speedometer cable itself. So I'm just going to take these 2 screws off. Then after you do that, you can carefully wiggle the component out. You see there's a rubber seal around this input here. So you carefully can push it out. I'm taking care not to get fingerprints or whatever, because you never know, if you want to save it, it might be worth doing. But that's the case itself. You can see, who knows, was it in some sort of fire or something? I don't know. Boy, it's kind of, yeah, be an interesting story to know what happened to this one. But that's the case, the outer case. And then here's the inside. I'm going to take that off. Okay. And here's the inside. I don't know if the focus is, there we go. Get some decent focus on the mechanism on the inside. So these 4 digits here, these are the trip odometer gears or numbers, and then these are the actual odometer numbers. And what happens is, I know this because I've watched one work. See this spiral gear here? helical gear. It's not really easy to tell that it's helical. There you go, you can kind of see the focus. But when you twist the when the odometer is moving, it twists like that. And that's how speedometers work, by the way. This twists, and there's a magnet connected to it. You see this in here? And that magnet, as it spins, it makes this piece here spin. And when that piece spins, see, that makes the needle move. So the faster this is spinning, the more it makes the needle move. And that's how it gives you the indication of what the speed that you're running is. But the other thing that's happening is, as this is revolving from the speedometer input, this gear is moving. And that gear is connected to more stuff. And there's actually two of them. And that's what I'm actually looking at to see why does my trip odometer not work on the Speedo that's in my car now. As I said before, the Speedo that's from the car that I'm working on is an Italian speedometer that's kilometers only. Okay, and by being kilometers, that's the way the car was. And I want to preserve that uniqueness. Check out the numbers there. It's an SN6332/02. This is a 6332-/01, 1312, and this one has 760. So absolutely, those numbers are going to indicate some of what the gearing is on the inside, which is why I don't want to just take one and put the other one in. But I want to find out why it's not working. So I want to really understand which of the gears are turning, and then obviously as the gears turn, they operate very small actuators like this right here. Okay, kind of like how a clock works, that that as enough rotations occur here, it's going to push this little notch. Get it to focus in there. It's going to push that little notch one time. And each time it pushes that notch one time, okay, that's going to make the numbers increment once. And just like any other calculating or adding process, as they rotate around enough times, this will make that rotate once. And then once this rotates 10 times, it rotates that one, etc., etc. But as this one rotates one time, that's got to make this one rotate once. And that's where I'm trying to understand exactly what's the connection of what's going on. So I'm taking this one apart, and here's the trip odometer reset. They're telling you that you need to turn counterclockwise. Or actually, I'm surprised they didn't say anti-clockwise. That's the way the British would say things like that. But anyway, so this is the one that I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to put it back inside of its case here so I don't bend anything. And then I'm going to take the other one apart and start to compare what's going on with them, so I understand exactly what's happening and how to make the other one work. I'm pretty sure it's not a major thing that's wrong with this one here, but clearly something is not working, because when you rotate, when you do the speedometer cable, the trip odometer increases, but the odometer doesn't. So there's some sort of disconnect there. My reasoning for having this one